Hi, this is Rena, your English teacher from Whispered Hub. Before we start the video, I want to know why you are learning English so that we can make a strong community. Here are some options. A. To travel. B. To have better job opportunities. C. To communicate with the world. D. To access information. E. Any other reason. Please write your reason in the comments below. Let's begin the story. Part 1. Arriving in New York. My name is Maria, and I am from Spain. I came to New York to learn English. I was excited but also nervous. I had never been to New York before. When I arrived at the airport, I felt a mix of emotions. The city was big and noisy. I took a taxi to my new apartment. The buildings were tall, and there were many people everywhere. When I got to my apartment, I met my roommate. Her name is Anna, and she is from Brazil. Anna is also learning English. We quickly became friends. We both felt happy to have someone to talk to in our new city. The next day, I went to my language school. It was my first day of class. The school was not far from my apartment, so I walked. The streets were busy and I saw many interesting things. There were street vendors selling food, people rushing to work, and tourists taking pictures. At the school, I met my teacher, Ms. Parker. She was very nice and welcomed us warmly. There were students from different countries in my class. I met Hiroshi from Japan, Maria from Mexico, and Ahmed from Egypt. We all wanted to learn English. Ms. Parker started the class by introducing herself. Then she asked each of us to introduce ourselves. When it was my turn, I felt a little shy. But I took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Maria. I am from Spain. I am here to learn English." Everyone smiled, and Ms. Parker said, "Welcome, Maria. We are happy to have you here." After introductions, Ms. Parker talked about the course. She said we would learn English by using it every day. We would speak, listen, read, and write in English. She told us that practice is very important. "Do not worry about making mistakes," she said. "Making mistakes is part of learning." In the afternoon, we practiced speaking in pairs. I paired with Hiroshi. We talked about our countries and why we came to New York. Hiroshi told me he likes anime and wants to work in animation. I told him I like reading books and want to be a writer. It was a good conversation, even though we both made mistakes. We helped each other and learned new words. After school, Anna and I decided to explore our neighborhood. We found a small park nearby. We sat on a bench and talked about our first day. Anna said she liked the class and the teacher. I agreed. We both felt more confident about learning English. In the evening, we cooked dinner together. We made a simple pasta dish. As we cooked, we practiced English. "Pass me the salt, please," Anna said. "Here you go," I replied. We laughed and enjoyed our meal. The next day, we had a listening exercise in class. Ms. Parker played a recording of a conversation between two people. We had to listen carefully and answer questions. At first, it was hard to understand everything, but Ms. Parker played the recording several times. Each time, I understood a little more. After the listening exercise, we had a reading activity. Ms. Parker gave us a short story to read. The story was about a girl who moves to a new city. It reminded me of my own experience. We read the story together and then discussed it. Ms. Parker asked us questions about the story. This helped us understand the text better and learn new vocabulary. In the afternoon, we did a writing exercise. We had to write a short paragraph about our favorite place in our home country. I wrote about a beautiful beach near my hometown. It has golden sand and clear blue water. Writing in English was challenging, but I felt proud of my work. After school, Anna, Hiroshi, and I went to a coffee shop. We wanted to practice speaking English outside of class. We ordered our drinks in English and found a table. We talked about our day and our plans for the weekend. It was fun and helped us feel more comfortable using English in real-life situations. On Saturday, Anna and I decided to visit some famous places in New York. We took the subway to Times Square. It was amazing. The lights, the big screens, and the crowds were all so exciting. We took many pictures and even bought some souvenirs. Next, we visited Central Park. It was nice to walk in the park and see the green trees and the lake. We saw people jogging, walking their dogs, and having picnics. We found a quiet spot and sat down to rest. Anna and I talked about our families and our homes. It was a good way to practice English and get to know each other better. In the afternoon, we went to the Museum of Modern Art. The art was interesting, and we learned a lot. We tried to read the information about the paintings in English. Some words were new, but we helped each other understand. It was a great learning experience. On Sunday, I decided to do some studying. I wanted to review what I had learned in class. I read some English books and watched a movie with English subtitles. I also practiced writing by keeping a journal. I wrote about my experiences in New York so far. Writing helped me remember new words and practice sentence structure. In the evening, Anna and I cooked dinner again. This time, we made tacos. We talked about our plans for the week. Anna wanted to find a part-time job to practice her English more. I thought it was a good idea and decided to look for a job too. The next day at school, Ms. Parker taught us about English grammar. We learned about verb tenses and how to use them correctly. It was a bit difficult, but Ms. Parker explained everything clearly. We did some exercises to practice. I felt more confident about using different tenses in my sentences. In the afternoon, we had a speaking activity. We had to pretend we were in different situations, like at a restaurant or a store. I was paired with Maria from Mexico. We practiced ordering food in a restaurant. It was a fun activity and helped us practice real-life conversations. After school, Anna and I went to the job center. We looked at the job listings and asked the staff for advice. They were very helpful and gave us some tips on finding part-time jobs. They said that working in a cafe or a store would be a good way to practice our English. We filled out some job applications and left our contact information. I felt nervous, but also excited. I hoped to find a job where I could use my English and learn more about American culture. That evening, I called my family in Spain. I told them about my experiences in New York and my new friends. They were happy to hear that I was doing well. I missed them, but I knew I was learning a lot and growing as a person. The next few days at school were busy. We had more grammar lessons, listening exercises, and speaking activities. I could feel my English improving little by little. I made sure to practice every day, even outside of class. One day, Ms. Parker asked us to give short presentations about our countries. I was nervous, but I prepared well. I talked about Spain, its culture, and famous landmarks. My classmates enjoyed my presentation, and I felt proud of myself. Giving the presentation helped me practice speaking in front of a group and improved my confidence. On Friday, Anna and I got a call from a cafe we had applied to. They wanted to interview us for part-time positions. We were excited and a little nervous. We prepared by practicing common interview questions in English. We helped each other and gave tips on how to answer confidently. The next day, we went to the cafe for the interview. The manager, Lucy, was very kind. She asked us about our previous experience and why we wanted to work at the cafe. I explained that I wanted to improve my English and learn more about American culture. Anna said the same. Lucy appreciated our honesty and enthusiasm. She decided to give us a chance. She offered us a trial period to see how we would do. Anna and I were thrilled. We thanked Lucy and agreed to start the following week. That evening, we celebrated our success. We cooked a special dinner and invited Hiroshi and Maria from our class. We talked about our new jobs and our experiences in New York. It was a fun and relaxing evening. As I went to bed that night, I felt grateful for the opportunities I had. New York was a big and busy city, but it was also full of chances to learn and grow. I knew there would be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them with a positive attitude and a smile. My journey in New York was just beginning. I was excited to see what the future held and how much more I could learn and achieve. With my friends by my side and my determination to succeed, I knew I could make the most of my time in this amazing city. Part 2. Starting a new job. On Monday, Anna and I started our new jobs at the cafe. We were both excited and a bit nervous. The cafe was cozy and had a friendly atmosphere. It was located in a busy part of the city, so there were always many customers. We met Lucy, the manager, and she introduced us to our new colleagues. They were all very nice and welcoming. Lucy showed us around the cafe and explained our tasks. We would take orders, make drinks, serve food, and clean tables. It sounded simple, but I knew it would be a good way to practice English. Lucy also told us that we would have a short training session to learn how to use the cash register and the coffee machines. During the training, we practiced taking orders and making drinks. At first, it was challenging to remember everything, especially the different types of coffee. But Lucy was patient and helped us whenever we made mistakes. Anna and I practiced together, and soon we felt more confident. After the training, it was time for our first real shift. I was nervous, but I took a deep breath and reminded myself to stay calm. My first customer was a friendly woman who ordered a latte and a croissant. I took her order and repeated it to make sure I got it right. She smiled and said, "Yes, that's correct." I felt relieved. As the day went on, I took more orders and became more comfortable. I made some mistakes, like forgetting to add sugar to a coffee, but the customers were understanding. I apologized and quickly fixed the mistakes. Each interaction was a chance to practice my English and learn new words. Anna and I worked well together. When one of us was busy, the other would help out. We communicated in English, even when we were talking to each other. This helped us improve our language skills and become more confident. By the end of the day, we were tired but happy. We had survived our first day at the cafe. That evening, we talked about our experiences at the cafe. Anna said she enjoyed talking to the customers and learning new things. I agreed. Working at the cafe was a great way to practice English in a real-life setting. We also appreciated the support from our colleagues and Lucy. The next day, I had my English class in the morning. Ms. Parker started the lesson with a vocabulary exercise. She gave us a list of new words and asked us to write sentences using them. This exercise helped me learn new words and how to use them in context. I felt that my vocabulary was improving every day. After the vocabulary exercise, we had a listening activity. Ms. Parker played a recording of a conversation between two people. We had to listen carefully and answer questions about the conversation. I found it easier to understand the recording than before. My listening skills were getting better. In the afternoon, we had a group discussion. Ms. Parker gave us a topic to talk about, our favorite books. I talked about a book I read in Spain called La Sombra del Viento by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I explained why I liked the book and what it was about. My classmates also shared their favorite books. It was interesting to hear about different books from around the world. After class, I went to the cafe for my shift. Anna and I were getting better at our tasks. We made fewer mistakes and felt more confident. We also started to recognize regular customers. One of them was Mr. Johnson, an elderly man who came every morning for a cup of black coffee and a newspaper. He was always friendly and liked to chat with us. Talking to Mr. Johnson was a good way to practice English. One day, Mr. Johnson asked me about my home country. I told him about Spain and the beautiful places there. He listened with interest and asked many questions. I enjoyed talking to him and sharing my culture. It made me feel more connected to New York and its people. As the days went by, I noticed that my English was improving. I felt more comfortable speaking and understanding the language. I also felt more confident in my job at the cafe. Lucy praised us for our hard work and dedication. She said we were doing a great job. On the weekend, Anna and I decided to explore more of New York. We visited the Brooklyn Bridge and walked across it. The view of the city skyline was amazing. We took many pictures and enjoyed the fresh air. After the walk, we found a small cafe and had lunch. We practiced our English by ordering food and talking to the waiter. In the afternoon, we went to a bookstore. I wanted to buy an English book to improve my reading skills. I found a book called The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The book looked interesting, and I had heard good things about it. Anna also bought a book called To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. We decided to read our books and discuss them together. On Sunday, I spent some time reading my new book. It was challenging to read in English, but I enjoyed the story. I kept a dictionary nearby to look up words I didn't know. This helped me learn new vocabulary and understand the text better. I also wrote down some new words and their meanings in a notebook. This was a good way to remember them. In the evening, Anna and I went to a park near our apartment. We took our books and found a quiet spot to read. After reading for a while, we talked about our books. Anna told me about the characters and the plot of her book. I did the same. It was a fun and relaxing way to practice English. The next week, I had an important lesson at school. Ms. Parker taught us about idioms and expressions. She explained that idioms are phrases that have a different meaning from the words themselves. For example, "It's raining cats and dogs" means it's raining heavily. Learning idioms was interesting and fun. It also helped me understand more about the English language and its culture. We did some exercises to practice using idioms. Ms. Parker gave us sentences with missing words, and we had to fill in the blanks with the correct idioms. This exercise helped us learn how to use idioms in context. I found it challenging but rewarding. In the afternoon, we had a speaking activity. We had to use the idioms we learned in conversations. I paired with Ahmed from Egypt. We created a dialogue using as many idioms as we could. It was funny and a bit silly, but it helped us remember the idioms. We laughed a lot and enjoyed the activity. After school, I went to the cafe for my shift. It was a busy day, and there were many customers. I used some of the idioms I learned when talking to them. For example, when a customer asked how the weather was, I said, "It's raining cats and dogs." The customer smiled and understood what I meant. It was a good feeling to use what I had learned in a real conversation. That evening, Anna and I cooked dinner together. We made a Spanish dish called paella. It was delicious, and we enjoyed cooking and eating together. We talked about our day and shared what we had learned. Anna told me she had learned some new vocabulary and grammar rules. I told her about the idioms and how I used them at the cafe. On Friday, we had a special event at school. Ms. Parker organized a cultural exchange day. Each student had to prepare a presentation about their home country. We could bring pictures, food, or anything that represented our culture. I was excited to share more about Spain. For my presentation, I decided to talk about Spanish festivals. I brought pictures of La Tomatina and the running of the bulls. I also brought some traditional Spanish sweets called turrón. When it was my turn, I showed the pictures and explained the festivals. My classmates enjoyed the presentation and asked many questions. They also liked the turrón and thanked me for sharing it. After the presentations, we had a potluck lunch. Each student brought a dish from their country. There was sushi from Japan, tacos from Mexico, falafel from Egypt, and brigadeiro from Brazil. It was a delicious and multicultural meal. We tried different foods and learned more about each other's cultures. It was a fun and memorable day. That weekend, Anna and I went to a music festival in Central Park. There were many bands playing different types of music. We enjoyed the performances and danced to the music. It was a great way to relax and have fun after a busy week. We also met some new friends at the festival. They were from different countries and were also learning English. We exchanged contact information and planned to meet again. On Sunday, I spent some time studying. I reviewed my notes from class and practiced using idioms. I also read more of my book and wrote in my journal. Writing in English was becoming easier for me. I felt proud of my progress. In the evening, Anna and I watched an English movie with subtitles. We chose a comedy called The Intern. It was funny and entertaining. Watching movies in English helped us improve our listening skills and learn new expressions. We enjoyed the movie and had a good laugh. The next week, we had a grammar lesson at school. Ms. Parker taught us about prepositions. She explained how to use prepositions of time, place, and direction. We did some exercises to practice using them correctly. It was a bit tricky, but Ms. Parker's explanations were clear and helpful. In the afternoon, we had a speaking activity. We had to describe a place using prepositions. I paired with Hiroshi from Japan. We described our favorite places in our home countries. Hiroshi described a beautiful temple in Kyoto, and I described the beach near my hometown in Spain. This activity helped us practice using prepositions in context. After school, I went to the cafe for my shift. It was another busy day, but I felt more confident in my tasks. I took orders, made drinks, and talked to customers. I also used the new vocabulary and grammar rules I had learned in class. Each day at the cafe was a chance to practice and improve my English. In the evening, Anna and I cooked dinner and talked about our day. We were both happy with our progress and felt more comfortable using English. We also talked about our future plans. Anna wanted to continue her studies in New York and find a job in marketing. I wanted to finish my language course and maybe write a book in English. We both had big dreams and were determined to achieve them. As I went to bed that night, I reflected on my journey so far. I had come to New York to learn English, and I was making good progress. I had met wonderful people, made new friends, and experienced many new things. I felt grateful for the opportunities and support I had received. I knew there would be more challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them with confidence and determination. My adventure in New York was just beginning. There was so much more to learn and discover. I was excited for the future and ready to embrace whatever came my way. With my friends by my side and my passion for learning, I knew I could achieve my goals and make my dreams come true.